how familiar are folks with Web3? I understand some folks are very. Um, how many sort of developers in the room? Okay. Marketing. Any, okay. Any BD sort of folks? Got it. So just getting a sense of the room. Okay. How many of you know about Okto and what we do here, or should I go through it for a bit? Okay, so Okto is a part of the CoinDCX team. CoinDCX is an exchange in India. Okto, we started out as a self-custody wallet. We still are one of the largest wallets out there. We also extended the Okto wallet to an embedded wallet. So right now you can plug in the Okto wallet into your own dApps, etc. And now we're sort of working on decentralizing whatever chain abstractor experiences that we've built on Okto and the embedded wallet onto a decentralized sort of app chain, roll-up chain, etc. So that's a quick background. You guys can download it and try out a chain abstracted live experience. So that's sort of about who we are. I lead product tech there. Asad, who's also a part of our team, will come in later and explain how our architecture works later. Any questions before we start? Otherwise, we can jump in. What I'm going to focus on is the user experience point of view. What that largely means is for mass adoption to happen, for blockchain to be an app that is used by my grandmother, what do we have to do and how do we get there? That's sort of what I'm going to cover. So think of it roughly as Web2 outside, Web3 inside. That's sort of what we're trying to do. A quick background as to how we have reached there and why chain abstraction is the thing that everybody is speaking about right now. We started off with Bitcoin. We got incentive and smart contract PMFs with ETH, but everybody was trying to solve scalability, so we did L1s. We couldn't solve scalability, we did L2s. Recently, last year, as an ecosystem, we were trying to get into a lot of modularity. Now with modularity, we are almost thinking that scalability is solved. But also what that means is everybody has their own chain, everybody has their own standards. It's a very fragmented ecosystem right now. So now we don't know what to do next, probably is chain abstraction, and we're all trying that out. But effectively what we want to get to as an ecosystem is build great applications and get sort of my mother, my grandmother, everybody else into blockchain apps. Quickly, if you look at this, is the A16Z report that I'm referring to, but quickly, if you look at where we are right now, developer interest is stagnated because it's becoming more and more complicated to build good apps in crypto. User interest is back because obviously prices are back and they're spiking. Demand is back in a very strong way, but we're not getting a lot of new developers into the ecosystem. A laundry list of user problems and developer problems after this, but if you ask any Web2 user about and ask them to use a blockchain application, they will basically trip over themselves multiple times. They will ask, what are keys, what is blockchain, what is a chain, what is a protocol, why am I here, what am I doing, what is a wallet address, this thing failed, how do I retry? It's an extremely complicated experience. We all are trying to solve a lot of low-level problems, but if you step back a bit, it is an extremely complicated experience. Even if you look at what app developers face, there are several standards across the board. Even to manage a simple transaction lifecycle, you have to manage several low-level application level complexities. You have to, there's a laundry list there, and if a lot of you guys are developers, you guys already face these issues. If you guys are familiar with chain abstraction, then you might have come across the cake framework. Quickly putting it in context for everybody, starting from the bottom, there is a chain layer, there's a user account layer, which is chain layer basically is getting solved by things like ag layer that Polygon is doing, and everybody has their own versions of it. User account layer, think of it like I have wallets across every chain. So how do I unify all of these wallets into a single account and then make transactions using that account? Think of it as a unified wallet or a universal wallet layer. The application layer is where most Web2 developers would be working at, or most applications will be building. There are a lot of low-level complexities, like I said. You have to estimate, you have to manage nonces, you have to read block statuses, you have to submit again, you have to handle a laundry list of edge cases. So there's a lot of problems there. User experience is sort of the last thing. How do we build mobile native experiences and how do we build single experiences that users are now used to in Web 2? Yeah, so when we say let's build a Web 2 experience with Web 3 technology, what does that mean? And let's break it down a bit. So again, there's a sort of a list of experiences that I think we should build to get blockchain to the masses. Let's build mobile first experiences. A lot of blockchain dApps are still on desktop. Not a lot of users are on desktop. So till it goes mobile native and a mobile idiot-proof experience, it won't take off. Let's build fewer redirections. If any of you used mobile wallets, you know that the walleting experience sucks. There are so many redirections, so many failures, it just doesn't work. Let's build social logins, human-friendly logins. Let's build sort of wallets that people understand. What is a wallet? How does it work? Etc. Single-click experiences. These are in the same range of build good intents. But once you build good intents, what you are able to do is build single-click experiences on a mobile native experience. Obviously, everything that I've said so far is very Web 2-ish from an experience point of view, but the next couple of things are obviously more into the Web 3 realm. How do we build privacy-centric applications? How do we build compliant applications? We don't know how to solve compliance in Web 3 yet. And how do we retain custody with the customer instead of giants in Web 2? So let me break this down and go into each one of these. I have liberally used screenshots from our app right now, which is the live app. You can try it out, but it is not something very specific to the Okto app. This is what we think internally a chain abstract experience should look like. So right now, if you use the Okto app, Okto is mobile native. We don't have a desktop version yet, and we'll work on it later. But we worked on mobile native experiences simply from the fact that Southeast Asia and the masses are on mobile. And only if we build with mobile, we will actually solve the technology problems required to make it simple. Without desktop, it's very easy to build a complicated experience, still have users use it. Mobile, the small screen space, stresses you to actually dump it down. You don't see a chain on this screen, you don't see a chain on this screen. These assets are across 4-5 chains right now. This is a screenshot of somebody else's app that we've taken. So what you will see across the board and in the screenshots that you'll see later, there will be no chain in any of these experiences. We've built a platform and we built platforms and protocols in the back end to sort of abstract everything away. So mobile native wallets. Let's talk about embedded experiences. Right now, you would all be aware of how the Indian fintech payment ecosystem works, right? You have the Paytm wallet inside the Uber app, you have a Swiggy app where you have PhonePe inside it. Basically, you don't need to hold your assets. Right now, the only asset in Web2 is money, but you don't need to hold your assets in 5 different applications and go hunting and redirecting and failing across all these applications. What you can do is make one interoperable self-custody wallet and embed them into each of these applications, and then you have an embedded wallet experiences without redirection, easy transactions, etc. Obviously, account abstraction plays a large role as a technology. Social logins, I think this is a horse that has been beaten dead recently, but how do we build decentralized auth while we can build account abstracted wallets, we can build amazing decentralized protocols, but if customers have to always carry around their key, it's not going to work. You need to build social auth for mass adoption, but what happens then is social auth becomes a single point of centralized failure. If I use Google Auth shuts down all crypto apps, we're still screwed. So we need to build some sort of decentralized authentication and then sort of let customers use the applications that they want. How do we get there is another problem. This is the sort of the swap and the futures experience on Okto app right now. Okto app is trading focused. We're deep into DeFi because of our origins. But if you see, this is a Solana token being bought by USD on base. You don't see a chain at all. It's a single click swipe experience. Even if you want to trade futures, it's a single click experience, and futures, mobile native future intents are done multi-chain generally. DID, I don't know if many folks are aware of decentralized identity. It's a different standard built not necessarily on blockchain, but blockchain can help it a lot in general. So ZK identity solvers and DID can build privacy-centric applications where you don't need to share all your data with a large company. You can keep all your data in your own client, in your own mobile, and only share data when requested. That will ensure that, it works very well with social auth. Basically, you can bring in your auth, you can verify yourself, but you don't need to share all the details with the application. But you can still access then your private key, public key, and start signing transactions in an account abstracted way. With PID, the obvious next step is how do we personalize information for customers. Right now, if we have all used Web2 apps. We used Amazon, Swiggy, anybody, they all use personalized experiences for us because they have all our data. If data is self-custody, if assets are self-custody, how do we actually personalize experiences? The answer is the next step of DID. We can use DID to build the next decentralized ad networks where I share data as a customer as to what I want to share, and then it goes on to a decentralized set of nodes who are all local with local copies of data, and they can solve for me. It's an ad network solver as to what I should see next. Regulation is not spoken about enough. In general, to win trust of the masses, we have to be compliant in general. For example, this is a Web2 anecdote that is famous, but payment fraud rate in India was around 10-11%. This was about 10 years back maybe. And then because we had built card-on-file systems where you could take a credit card and debit it at go. So there was a lot of fraud out there in India. And then the Indian government, as a regulation, introduced OTPs and basically a second factor authentication. OTP is the most popular way. Right now the payment fraud in India is 0.01%. UPI is also 2FA. So in general, compliance, and we know that because of these regulations, a lot more people feel safe in transacting online, and now Web2 is where it is, even with the scale of UPI. So regulations largely help keep bad actors at bay, and we need to build regulatory intent solvers, regulation compliant or regulation friendly intent solvers into the mix. This is a simple example that we are toying around with internally, where if you want to buy something, can I check your KYC before you buy something, and can I put those hooks into my intent solver in general? Self-custody is obviously the why Bitcoin and blockchain started in the first place, and how do we sort of keep the self-custody ethos while everything is delegated, smart contract wallets are delegated, intent solvers are delegated, I have little control, maybe all these solvers are centralized. So how do we keep doing that? Right now we have a solution. There are a lot of other people working on similar solutions in chain abstraction or orchestration space. The Okto chain, we call ourselves the orchestration layer because that's sort of what we do. You give us a user intent and we orchestrate across everything and give you an output. But yeah, solutions like these can work. I'll pause it. That's all I had. Any questions? You can go into detail in any of these and sort of answer more questions. Yeah.
I'm curious to understand like how your orchestration layer works versus like the socket one that we saw just before this.
To be fair, I haven't gone completely into detail about how socket works. I'll explain how our orchestration layer works. Right now, we don't have decentralized auth, but you log in using social auth and you get your own private key via MPC Tech. We are working on decentralized auth with folks at our out there. Then you get a private key for our chain. This is the white paper that we released a month back or so. And our chain has, think of it like an account abstraction smart wallet layer where we have user session keys, permissions, etc. to sign. Then whenever a job comes, think of it as a job or an order. Whenever a user intent order comes, we find out the right intent solver, intent script and the intent solver for it, give it to a decentralized network of off-chain actors. Think of it how Layer 0 does, how anybody else does. These guys execute the job. To execute the job, these guys need wallet signatures of the destination chain. We support all ecosystems and all destination chains, including BTC, Solana, Aptos, and everything else. So we have a decentralized wallet network, which is secured by ABS and MPC. So these guys get permissions from the Okto chain, and then these guys sign the transaction, give it back to the solvers, and these guys solve the intent and publish it to the blockchain. So this is what we have built internally, and it's not completely decentralized right now, it's centralized because we wanted to build something live and working. Right now we have about 2 million wallets live and running on this ecosystem within Okto, with embedded wallets as well as self-custody wallets, non-delegated EOA wallets on Okto, largely for DeFi trading, etc. So it works, we know that it works, we know customers like it. 90% of our customers are actually not degens. There are a lot of them are new to crypto and new to Web3. So that's that's very good validation for us, and we feel happy with it. Now we've decided to sort of decentralize some of these backend technologies that we've built and do it better.
And you mentioned ABS, so you guys are using like eigenlayer?
Yeah, to secure the MPC node.
Anybody else? I had one question.
Yeah.
Obviously, Okto for a lot of people was a wallet first, but now for the transition as a chain, how has it been, and what do you think is the plan to kind of get them accustomed to the fact that hey, it's a much bigger ecosystem than just a wallet at this point?
Yeah. So we started out as a wallet primarily because we wanted to help users use the right applications well. So even if, for example, even if you do a simple wallet connect on the Okto app, we have a paymaster and a gas station and a bridge line. So we have an invisible bridge. So you can wallet connect on a Solana chain, and if you can have assets on a base chain, and the transaction will go through. So that's the sort of backend platform that we had built. Then what happened is we were meeting with apps, especially Web2 apps, who sort of wanted this sort of technology. So we abstracted a lot of it out and gave them an embedded wallet. So with the embedded wallet, we are already out there in the ecosystem, and sort of our VA team was, VA team was working hard to get more embedded wallets into the ecosystem. All these wallets, including the embedded wallet and the main Okto app, are interoperable. So liquidity is aggregated, experience is aggregated, and everything else. So this is where we started. Now to scale, obviously there are questions about, hey, your platform is centralized. How much can we trust you? And then the right answer is, hey, okay, let's decentralize it. And we're decentralizing with off-chain and on-chain validators, and let's see how it goes. Yeah. He has a question.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Is your orchestration layer itself available for integration, or do you need to plug into Okto's embedded wallet to be able to use the
It's available for integration. So the sort of the pitch for our orchestration layer is you get simple CRUD APIs for any application. So if you're building an application, you get Web2 APIs basically. You get credit, debit, update, check balance, and things like that, and you can start using it.
And is this documentation available?
Yeah. Check out sdk-docs/okto.tech.
Okay.
Or it'll be on okto.tech website. You can find it.
Thank you.
Hi. So I was trying out your wallet. I wanted to understand, you talked about your own aggregation layer. So let's say now I have to add funds in your wallet, and I could saw there are like 4 chains that you support right now. So how does it work? Are my funds on the same chain when I deposit to Okto, or like do you take funds and mint the synthetic asset from your chain or something?
So our app chain is not live yet. We're working on it. It will be live in a couple of months. So right now they're all in the PYOR. So right now we support 4 chains only for on-ramp, but we support around 20 chains right now. So if you deposit money into, let's say, a Polygon chain, then it will stay in Polygon.